Been meaning for months to put together a kayaking camping video for my webpage, and finally doing that. So hoping you get some useful hints out of this. When I'm camping and I'm on week-long trips with my buddy, one of the first things that I do is I purchase this from Seals, and this is really useful. This is a bag that you just order and attaches to the latches on your spray skirt. This is the Extreme Tour 1.7 spray skirt. This is just a mesh bag with a zipper, and what I keep in this is my ditch kit. A lot of people keep their emergency bags in their kayak, but if you get separated from your kayak, you've got to swim to shore. You're screwed if everything's in your kayak. So inside that bag, I have a waterproof ditch survival kit, and I've got a couple of useful things in here. And these are things that hints I picked up from buddies that I've kayaked with, and videos, all sorts of things. One of the things I have in here is a light stick, which is really useful. I've got a Coughlin survival kit, which I like because it's portable. It's in a tin can, and I don't know how they fit everything in here. The stuff they get in here is incredible. They've got everything from a compass, fire starter, survival, first aid information, wire, waterproof matches, fishing line, sewing thread, bouillon soup, tea bag, sugar, matchbook, antiseptic swabs, razor blade, twist ties, duct tape, signal mirror, Ziploc bag, adhesive bandages, 2 nails, 2 safety pins, 2 fish hooks, a signal whistle, chewing gum, sewing needle, energy candy, note, paper, pencil, and a small LED TV. Anyway, that's from Coughlin's, and that's one of the things I keep in my ditch kit. One of the other things that I keep in there is, this is a neat system. This is a flare gun, but it's set up like a pencil, and there's a trigger that you pull back, and you screw on. I've got flares that I keep in here, and I also have what's called a bear banger, which lets off a big sound like a shotgun blast, which scares bears. So I keep that with me in my ditch kit. Other things that I've got in there that are useful, and I picked this up when I was in the military. This is a great idea. All you do is you get the round makeup removal pads that women use, and you smear petroleum jelly on either side of it, and then stick a pad on top of that, smear petroleum jelly on both sides. Just keep building a sandwich, about 8 or 10. Put it in a baggie. This lasts for years. The best thing, a spark will start a fire right away with this. It's one of the most useful things I rely on. Then I have a Swiss fire starter. Okay, again, I'd rather depend on this than matches or a lighter any day. Lighter and matches get wet and you're kind of screwed. Keep a small portable flashlight. I've got a multi-tool in here. I've also got a Swiss Army knife, some paracord attached to a bungee, and any of my dry waterproof bags I always put in one of these things you get at the drugstore. It helps keeps the moisture out of the bag, especially good for cameras and things like that. Some other things I carry for emergencies. I got this from Canadian Tire. It's a signal horn. Again, this will scare away any wild animals, also attract people if you're in distress. So that's very useful. A couple other things I carry going camping. I've got a basic tent repair kit. I've got waterproof repair tape that I use for my kayak. Could also use this for tent fabric, lots of other things. I keep some extra paracord, and one of the things I keep too is a large, extra large size baggie, which I can use to do all sorts of things, like collect moisture if you're stuck and you don't have any water to drink. I keep baggies with this, and this is pretty cool, and this is by Sol, okay, which is Survive Outdoors Longer. This is a survival poncho. Again, it's portable, great for kayaking. Quick Clot Advanced Clotting Sponge, good to stop bleeding in emergencies. So I keep that with me in my ditch kit. One of the other things I have is a Sol emergency bivvy, and again, it's more of a warm bag. You can put your body in, which is nice to keep you warm. I also keep a waterproof container, and this is more for also if you're guiding and you've got friends with you on a trip. I've got everything in here from Imodium. I've got also ibuprofen. I've got pills for motion sickness, band-aids. I keep the most useful things in here that I think, you know, some of the people that are kayaking with you might end up needing. So that's in my emergency kit. My PFD that I use is a sailless one. It's black, which in retrospect I thought was cool, but it's kind of a stupid choice because of the dark color. I've got my titanium knife here, which is great. It won't rust in salt water, which is the reason I've got it. I keep a watch, waterproof watch, on here at all times. I've got some reflective taping. I've got a whistle. I've got all sorts of lights on the back. I've got this neat lighting system, and there are some probes which are attached. And as soon as these get wet, this will start strobing, which is really, really good. If you land up in the water in an emergency, it's great. Sailless makes a new vest out called Proto, which opens up. It's got a lot more room for storing things. It's got a built-in belt. Plus, it has a camelback water system right up inside the back. That's probably my next Christmas present. Now, one of the things that are great when I'm kayaking, and again, I'm a bit of an electronic gearhead, so I like to listen to music when I'm kayaking on long kayak trips. This is by Goal Zero. It's really cool. It's a portable speaker system, and essentially it's waterproof. I have this on the deck of my kayak in pouring rain, blaring music. All the controls on the outside, so you can control the volume. You can also switch from one track to the other. It's got a great bungee system on the back, so you can connect it up to anything. I bought this because the sound is really good. It's got a built-in bass. I use this in the house when I listen to music. Plus, when it charges, it lasts for 20 hours, which is unheard of. And you just attach your smartphone to it and you put it inside. Now, it is weatherproof. I have used it. It's not submersible, so if you can do Eskimo rolls, you don't want to do this thing on your deck. But I put a waterproof bag in here in my smartphone. I have one that I use, which is this one, and this is a really good one. It's called by drycase.com, and essentially you suck out any air that's in here, any moisture. It's got a built-in headphone. You can plug into your smartphone and listen to music. It's all waterproof. Again, that type of a case is the only thing I would trust. It's IPX8 rated, which means it's submersible. It's the only thing I would trust my electronic gear in. Now, Goal Zero does make a more expensive one. This is only $59, by the way. They make one that's about $100 more that has a built-in solar panel and it's Bluetooth, but I mean, really, you don't need it. One of the other things that I find useful from Goal Zero is the Goal Zero Nomad 7. And essentially what it is, it's a solar panel system, and you can connect this to your backpack, you can connect this to your tent. I actually have this on my rear deck or in my kayak in a clear bag, and I would charge my things when I'm out kayaking. This is a great system because it comes with all sorts of extra wires that you can use. It comes with the Goal Zero Guide 10 Plus, which in itself is like a battery pack. You plug this in and you can put 4 AA or AAA batteries in here, and you can also take a charge off this to use to recharge your mobile devices. Really, really good. The batteries are high quality. Fantastic item. Now, when you do get those 1 or 2 cases where maybe you're kayaking for several days and it's just cloudy, I keep a Brunton recharge system, and essentially you recharge this before your trip. And if you can't depend on solar panels, I can recharge different devices off this. It's quite useful, especially for your phones. Now, some of the other things that I keep with me when I'm kayaking is This is by Black Diamond. It's a really, really good system. It's one of the brighter lights you can wear on your head. I purchased this one mostly because it's got a battery pack where you can fit in regular rechargeable batteries. One of the few that do that. But the whole battery pack is waterproof. So if you end up going over, rolling or whatever, this thing is going to keep working. It's not going to be ruined. Some of the other electronics I've got a Goal Zero rechargeable LED light. It's got a solar panel built inside. Again, and I'll attach that to my deck. And this is a really good flashlight. I'll use that. I keep a couple other small ones. This is a Cree XRE Q4 flip. I use that inside my tent. Again, it's a really useful lantern. Another one that I use, and this is great because I have a rechargeable battery pack that goes in here, or you can plug this in the wall. It's a Black Diamond Apollo, and you can hang this off the top of your tent. You can sit it on a table. Again, it's very small. The light lasts for a long time. Really, really useful. One of the things that I researched is this is a Standard Horizon floating HX300 VHF radio. Really, really useful. Great for kayaking because this one is lightweight. It's fully submersible. So if you're rolling, the thing's not going to get ruined. The previous one that I had was supposed to be waterproof. This is by Cobra, and it's a piece of crap. What makes this one stand out from all the other radios is it's got a strobe. So as soon as you get in the water, this strobe will turn on. You can find it if you drop it in the dark. If you're in the water and this is in your PFD, people will find you. You can get it to emit an SOS beacon on the strobe, which is great. But the thing that stands out with this that I like the most is, unlike a lot of the radios where you've got to have a really cradle system where you're plugging into the wall, this one comes with a USB wire. You can recharge this thing from your laptop, from your solar panels, and that makes it really, really useful. I haven't been able to find any other one on the market that does that. So that's a really important system that I use. Some of the other things that I use when I'm kayaking is you get 50 years old, you don't want to be sitting on rocks all day long. So this is a bit of a luxury item, but this is a Helenix Chair 1. And you can go to their website. It's a fantastic chair. It's rated for 300 pounds. It's very comfortable. It's low to the ground, so you can cook in this thing, sitting in this thing. I have tennis balls I've drilled the holes out of. I put them on the legs because the only drawback with this, if you're in a sandy spot, you're pulling your kayak, the chair will sink a bit. So put the tennis balls on where you drilled the hole, and the chair is fantastic. I've had other people try this chair and run out to buy it. Also got a portable table by GSI, and it folds up like an accordion. There are legs that fold down. Fantastic for cooking. You can put all your gear on it. Fantastic thing. And that's a portable table. Some of the other things I use when I'm kayaking. I found a lot of those PVC type rubber sacks, they suck for kayaks because you can't get them in, you can't move them in your kayak a lot. They're not very good. So I have a lot of different size dry bags. This is a Event waterproof fabric. They're great because they're compressible. By Sea to Summit, compressible bags, very waterproof, fantastic bags. I use that as all my dry bags. They're quite expensive though. For electronics, I go with the old-fashioned PVC type because this is a Nimbus dry sack 5-liter bag. I keep my electronics in here because I know for sure it's things are going to stay dry. Some of the other things I have when I go camping. This is a cool thing. This is from MEC. REI, I think, sells it in the States. It's Integral Designs Silk Tarp 2. Fantastic. It's fabric kind of like parachute fabric. Very, very thin. It packs up into nothing. Waterproof. This thing can withstand winds. I have 2 telescopic poles that I use with this, and I attach a rope to this. I attach ropes to anything that I jam up the front of my kayak nose because I can yank it out from the rope and it makes it easy to get to. For tents, the problem you've got with kayaking is you've got to be able to fit this thing in your kayak. And I went with a Eureka El Capitan 3. It's the most popular selling Eureka tent for backpackers. It's a two-man one. It's really, really great because it has two doorways where you can put your gear in. Outside, it's very waterproof. I separate my poles, put my poles in the kayak. Again, very useful. And you might say, no, this is kind of thing. Why on earth would you want to go kayaking and camping with an IKEA bag? Well, the funny thing is that I was on a course in Lake Superior just last fall, and every single person on the course had this, one in their front and one in their back hatch. It's fantastic because you can get all your gear into these, and then you're not going back a dozen times back and forth from your kayak when you're setting up your campsite. So again, then when you're done, you've got everything in, you just fold it up, put it right inside, and it's the first thing you pull out when you're getting your gear out of your kayak. So IKEA bags, again, cost $1. Really, really useful. Got a ground tarp that I use with my tent. You want to make sure you've got that. I've got a lightweight sleeping bag. This is a Hot Core T100 lightweight tapered bag. Again, it's compressible. I try to get everything that's compressible for kayak camping because again, it takes up very little room. Another thing that I've got is I use, and this is kind of a luxury, but I hate feeling like I'm sleeping on a rock. This is an Expedition Equipment Xped Down Mat 9. It's really, really cool because it's got down inside the air mattress, so it keeps you warm when you're kayaking in the fall or spring. It's got a it's self-inflating. You've got a built-in pump inside. It's waterproof. It fits a 6-foot person. It's more than a foot wide, so it's actually usable. It's the most comfortable sleep I've ever had is on this thing. I also bring this when I'm kayaking. I was kayaking around Georgian Bay and had a problem with there are no place on a lot of these little rocky islands where you can dig your tent poles in for your tent. So I ended up having to come up with rock bags, and what this is, it's a whole bunch of bags that I just toss rocks in, and then I tie them to the corners of my tent. And again, fantastic. You want to get something that's durable. Cotton will rip. This is really strong stuff. And again, if you're going to be kayaking where there's not a lot of dirt to hook tent poles in, this is useful. I also have a small rectangular mesh mosquito protecting that I use, and I can attach this right to the underneath of my silk tarp. Gives me an area where outside my tent I don't have to worry about getting eaten alive when the bugs are back. Now I'm going to switch to some of the camping gear I use when I'm cooking. Again, a lot of this stuff is lightweight. This neat one I'm going to show you, this is called a BioLite stove. And BioLite is a really cool company. They're really innovative. My buddy brings a stove, and we usually have his and this one that we bring. And he's got the more traditional lightweight stove that you hook up with the propane or whatever liquid you're using. But again, sometimes he's had some of his bottles leak, and if you ever get that happen in a kayak, everything you've got is nylon. Your tent, your bags, it'll just eat through the nylon. And I wanted to have something where I could start a fire and not depend on that. And this is the BioLite kettle that I bought. It's steel. It's got rubber handles on it. It's got a measuring cup inside. It's got a pouring liquid, and inside it, what's really cool is you have the BioLite stove. You've also got a bowl inside here that it comes with. And the BioLite stove is really, really cool because this is quite unique on the market. You've got your system here, and you essentially just grab 2 handfuls of kindling and you throw the kindling in here. And then you land up starting your fire, and it has you recharge this before you leave, and it has a fan system which goes through on here. You sit this on the ground, and you can get an incredible amount of heat generated just from kindling, which is really, really good. And then you attach your stove to it. You can put your dry food in here. Again, it's fantastic. Heats up. I've tried it a dozen times. Heats up water 2 minutes, really, really quick. Neat thing about this is BioLite's does have this system on the outside, and as you're cooking, it's using the energy from that, and it has a battery pack in here which it's recharging. And you can use the USB connection they've got on the bottom here, and you can plug this into your your phone, your camera as you're cooking, and it will actually recharge it. So again, it's compact, it's portable. You wouldn't want to use this for backpacking because it's not exactly lightweight. But that's the BioLite stove. One fantastic and really creative device. Some other things I use when I'm camping, I've got the micro fleece towels for cleaning and everything else. I've got this is from Sea to Summit. It's a cup. I wanted a cup I could actually hold with hot liquids in it that were large enough to put soup in, and it was actually hard to actually find a really, really good one. This is from Sea to Summit. It's a portable clothesline, which again folds into nothing. Got a lightweight plate that I can throw in my kayak, spork. Again, this is, sides on this are high enough that I can actually cook. I don't want to carry all sorts of bowls and everything like that. A buddy of mine, we use camp suds whenever we're camping because these things are safe for the environment. You can take use this to clean yourself, jump in a lake or a river. You can use this for your hair. You can use it to clean your dishes. It's the best thing you can use. Some other things that I use when I'm camping, I have this mess kit from MSR, and it's a really neat thing because it's got all the cooking utensils in it that you need. It's got a cutting board inside of it, it's got spatulas, it's got tongs, spices, anything you need. And these are, you can get these pretty much anywhere, but again, you want to look at portability when you're kayaking because you don't have a lot of room, and you want lightweight stuff that you can fit into anything. That's a cooking set from MSR. One of the other things I carry is this collapsible container, which I use to clean dishes in. This is from Seattle Sports. Inside that, I've got a couple things. I've got a Nalgene bottle that I put clean water in. Once it's been purified, I have an Nalgene bottle that I keep dirty water in, and I tend not to mix those ones up. I've got a Sterapin, which is a UV system, and once you've got the dirty water in here, after you've filtered it, you can, in the clean container, turn on the light. You leave this in here for a couple minutes, and it gets rid of any of the bad biologicals in there that would make you sick. A little overkill, some people might say, but I had an intestinal infection years ago from dirty water, and it's nightmarish. This is an MSR pump that I use, and this attaches to the top of the Nalgene bottle, which is an advantage. It has a connector that attached to it and a hose, and this will siphon through the dirty water and take out all of the bad things again that are in there. That's a really useful thing. Some of the other things I carry too is, this is really useful. I was looking for the longest time for some sort of a large knife that I could use to cut branches for tinder. I couldn't find a folding saw that was actually portable, that was actually strong enough to cut big ones. And this I got from Mountain Equipment Co-op. It's called Silky, and it's called the Pocket Boy. And again, it's a knife that's really good for cutting small branches for building fires. It's portable enough that it fits in here, it goes in your kayak, and you're not stuck carrying this huge monstrous thing around. So that's most of my camping stuff that I use when I'm going out on long 7-day trips. Got a first aid kit too that I keep in my kayak that's a little more expansive than some of my other stuff. But that's some of the most important lightweight gear that you want to make sure you've got with you. On my website, if you go there, I've got a PFD file, which is I use. It's a handy list that I check off whenever I'm camping, just to make sure I haven't forgotten anything important. Obviously, you want to have your compass and all that other stuff as well. I had someone ask me about kayaking and portaging, and can you do it? Well, I've only found one cart that I think works well with portaging a kayak. It's from Seattle Sports. It's a pretty cool cart. Essentially, it's this thing. It's got two bicycle wheels with spokes. And it works great because it bounces right under the middle of the kayak, so you can have it fully loaded. I have portaged with it many times. You just pull your kayak behind you. When you're done with it, you unscrew the wheels fold down, and you just tie it with a bungee to the back of your deck of your kayak like this. It's the only thing I can find on the market that has enough clearance, so if you've got some rocky portage routes, you can get through it. But again, even when it's on the cart, you got to remember your kayak's probably 45-50 pounds. You probably got easily 20 pounds of gear, so it adds up. You really got to be still strong enough to pull the cart behind you from your kayak. But if you've got fairly flat portage routes, not too rocky, you can portage just like you can get through those portage routes just like the canoeists can. It's a fantastic idea. And again, it's from Seattle Sports. If you Google it, you can find the same cart, and it's really useful. I've used this a dozen times.